And we are live in our last session, and it's been a little while. Nearly a month, actually. The party returned home to Phandalin after a couple of weeks in the nearby major city of Dralamar, where they foiled a plot by a group of villains following the remnant of a fallen dark god. Their attempt to help that remnant ascend to a position once held, at the cost of the lives of all of those who dwelt within Dralamar. Having rooted out the corrupt element within the Crimson Order, the party was rewarded the camaraderie of the Order's leader, or at least one of their leaders. And Louis came away with credentials, as well as a charge. One elven wizard, Kaelder Maloro, and adopted daughter Ember, placed under the watchful eye of the newly deputized member of the Crimson Order. They followed the party to Dralamar, or to Phandalin, where at the end of the session, we saw them bunked in a room at the inn. Their future somewhat unknown. The party spent some time in town, waiting for Paramon's return, and took the opportunity to look into a few things, one of which included the dark sword retrieved from the Black Spider. A weapon of seemingly considerable power to control the undead, left in Lenine's care, and studied by both her and Paramon. The weapon's true nature and the extent of its powers seemingly elusive to most, Lenine sent a letter to an old friend far to the east. That friend, having since perished, in his stead came Crispin, a perhaps new ally to the party. And upon approaching the sword, a voice reached out to him. A well-saved wisdom saving throw kept his faculties to himself, but discovered something new about this blade. So, as we pick up this week, we find ourselves leaning into some downtime here in Phandalin. The party having spread to go separate ways, although not far, with the man pulling Louis' strings away from the table this week. We'll leave Louis on autopilot, building his sanctum, his workshop, out in the fields beyond the Ettermath farmstead. We find Paramon returned from an errand that he won't speak much of, but waves off as a minor inconvenience. And I guess we could pick up with that scene in Lenine's shop. The blinds drawn, the doors locked. And Crispin staring at a gleaming blade that has whispered words into his mind. Would you like to do?
So, what did the sword say?
It wasn't much. I believe it was something along the lines of, you can hear me. I thought I'd be trapped in here forever.
Oh, I don't plan on letting you out. Who are you?
Do you say these words out loud, or do you reply in your mind?
I'll just say it out loud.
Okay. I think Lunalia was in the room.
Yep.
I believe Nora was at the smithy.
Yeah,
I think he was there.
Yeah, he came over from the smithy.
Oh yeah, that's right. You'd all gathered with minus Rogar.
Yeah, Lunelli has flipped her staff around and is holding the pointy end at Crispin's throat as soon as he reached for the sword.
Right. You see Lenine's dropped into a defensive posture and has withdrawn a wand from her sleeve as well. The voice replies in your mind, Crispin. Well, you seem to be a being of some fortitude. What happened to the one who wielded me before? And as you hear the blade speak in your mind, you hear whispers, dark, ominous rumbling in the distance. He and I were destined to do great things together. I no longer feel his presence. Where has he gone?
I don't know. You live in a box. That's as much as I know.
You bore me. Draw me, or put me away. The voice goes silent, the whispers fade.
Is this box like to where I can just shut the lid on it, or?
Yeah, it's a large oaken box with a hinged lid.
Then I will just reach for the lid and just shut it on the sword.
As you do, you feel a remnant of that oppressive presence around you fade away. Color seems to return to the world, as does light.
None of us have saw any of that, though, right?
I think that the rest of you might have felt something, an energy and electricity in the air, some sort of presence of power. But that's it. Perhaps the sword reaching out, touching other minds in the room, finding one that was favorable to it, one touched by darkness, perhaps.
She'll slowly pull her spear back so it's not right at his throat anymore.
Linian looks at you, her eyes wide. Put that down. There's no need for that. Did you hear it? She looks at you, Crispin, with a look of worry on her face.
I don't think it likes me.
It doesn't like me either. I've heard it once before. Told me I bored it. It's seeking someone. I think it seeks another who can put it to use.
Who owned the sword before you guys got it?
She blinks and looks towards Noro and Linalia.
It belonged to a drow. Known only as the spider.
You could make a history check, Crispin. There is something familiar about that name. Whispers of someone, the dark spider, the black spider, far to the west. A shadowy figure whose influence had begun to grow. But that's all you'd heard. A name that you're just vaguely familiar with.
And what of this spider now?
Oh, he's quite dead.
Oh, well, the sword's going to be very disappointed. Do you know what he did with the sword or planned to do?
Out of character. I can't remember who told us that he was using it either to control undead or summon undead. Who did we learn that from?
Didn't we learn that from Deeps' vision? We saw
Yeah, it was part of
with the sword.
Yeah, it was part of Deep's vision. He saw the spider standing on the wall above the city gates, the sword in hand. Waves of undead marching calmly through the gate beneath him.
Okay, so we just inferred that that's what the sword was for.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we, confronted the black spider, he used it to control the undead that were in the room.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, that's what Lunali would say to Crispin then.
Fantastic. That's what should be done with the undead, destroyed or forced to work.
Excuse me, forced to work?
Yes, forced to do some good. Do you prefer them purely destroyed?
Yes. It's unnatural.
Many things are unnatural.
Lenny nods nervously. I'm with her. Destroyed is better.
Either one. The sword apparently had big plans for its previous owner.
She reaches down and pushes the box sort of away from her to the edge of the counter. And just kind of looks at all of you. Takes a step back.
The sword is dangerous. I'm not sure 3 feet away is going to save you if it was causing problems.
I'm hoping you take it further than that. I'd really rather not hold it any longer if it can be helped.
Noro, could you not melt it down in the forge?
Well, I liked what he said about the undead. Gotta leave them bones alone. I don't know about putting them to work. I'll grab it.
I wouldn't touch the sword by itself.
Oh.
Leave it
back
in
the
its
box,
box,
right?
Alright, I'll let you do that.
Yeah, the sword is in a large, rather plain oaken box. With hinges on one side and a latch on the other. It is latched shut.
Alright, putting it back in the box and I'll take it.
Alright. Lenine clears her throat and just says, Crispin, do you plan to stay in town for a while?
I've traveled this far. I'll spend at least a couple days recovering.
Well,
Recovering
I don't
from
really
what?
have anywhere to go from the long journey.
Linian smiles and says, "We have a common friend, dearly departed, but Crispin here was a student of his. He came to me in his place when I asked for aid in understanding this sword's power. I think he might be useful to you all. If you intend to deal with this sword."
Only if he doesn't like playing with the undead. Mainly graveyards.
Define play.
Making him dance.
I do not control the undead.
Good in my book. Scribbles was here. Better judgment.
Well, I would like to open my shop if there's nothing else. Paramon sent word he would return in another day or two. Send him to find you when I see him?
We'll be around.
Good. Thank you for taking that. I will sleep better, knowing it is in good hands. She looks at the box that Noro now holds, just kind of shudders and goes over and unlocks the door and opens the blinds. You are left to the town, to your day. If there's anything else you'd like to do, if there's any RP you'd like to do, maybe getting to know each other, or if you'd just tell me if you want to hand wave that, and let me narrate a little bit of what happens over the next few weeks and months.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine for you to just narrate it.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Like, I don't know that Lunalia would necessarily want or need to get to know him.
I would just tell Rogar, cook one of them things and give this guy a test that he can hang with us.
I'm not there.
Yeah,
Whatever that thing it would be if he was
that'd be a heck of a phone call, because Rogar is, remember, he parted ways when you went back to Phandalin. He went to see a certain Dragonborn Paladin to settle up a bit of unfinished business and perhaps get a little training. Well, I'll just segue into a montage then. With nothing urgent driving the party onto their next mission, you all take the opportunity to take a deep breath, take in your surroundings, and relax for a few days. Those days stretch into weeks. Louis disappears, oftentimes returning, muttering about his workshop that he's building. On occasion, Lunalia, if visiting the Ettermath Pond, you might see him off in the distance, weaving complex arcane sigils through the air as raw materials spring out of the ground and rip away from trees and stones and begin weaving themselves into a workshop in the grasslands beyond the pond out here. Louis is absorbed in his work and doesn't spend much time with the party, but you do notice that over time he does spend some time with Kaeldrim Maloro. Kaeldrim and Ember, on their part, have vacated the inn and now rent a room from one of the local townsfolk. Kaeldrim doesn't come out much. You do see Ember about town once in a while. Quiet, her hood always up. And you're never quite sure if it's her or her clone. You never really see both of them in the same place at the same time. But whichever one it is, she typically keeps to herself and stays distant from others. Kaeldrim rarely leaves the room they've rented. If asked about it, Louis mentions that he has as some wizards are apt to do, he has a extra-dimensional space that is a workshop and laboratory that he disappears into. And if asked directly, he would admit that he finds Phandalin small and quaint, but feels safe here and out of the public eye. And so he does choose to stay for some time. Paramon returns. His spellbook is returned to him, and after carefully inspecting it for any wards or traps, he does finally decide that it is indeed his, and it is intact and has not been tampered with. Overjoyed at the reunion with the tome that he'd lost for so long, he thanks the party and begins to build his own sanctum, noting that the Tower of Storms out on the coast can wait. It is a place that he enjoyed at one point in his life, the solitude, but he has come to find Phandalin endearing. And so, right about here on this knoll, the south end of town, he begins to construct a small tower. In much the same manner that Louis does. You can see over the days, one of them will be at the other's construction site, inspecting the other's work. And you get the sense there is a little bit of a
oh god, are they going to try and one-up each other?
Yeah, there's a little bit of one-upsmanship going on here between the old gnome and the aging human as they build their new workshops, sanctums, as it were. At one point, perhaps around the table at the Stonehill Inn one evening, Deebs shows up. Reunited.
Who?
Exactly. Deebs Darkbeard. Reunited with your old friend, he assures the party that Dralamar is no longer in danger. And perhaps you catch him up on what had happened. And what the party had been up to when in Dralamar. And he confirms through prayer and a vision imparted while walking in moonlit fields. He now sees Dralamar. Its future is uncertain, but no longer in peril. Noro, you spend a large amount of time at the Forge. There are, with the new influx of guardsmen from Dralamar, there are a plethora of orders for anything from spurs to horseshoes to weapons and armor. There is an overabundance of work for the aging dwarf. And so you spend some time with him, and over the course of a few weeks, and more than a few drinks, he eventually opens up to your inquiry about Grey Dwarf Iron. And he tells you one evening, while quite drunk, that he, some time ago when they first came to town, ran afoul of some Duragar. Just a handful. 3, in fact. To the south, near Axholm, he had gone to see what had happened to the dwarves that once inhabited the mountain, and instead found Duragar camped in a narrow canyon near the entrance to the old Dwarven Forgehold. They were hostile at first, but it turned out they were actually traders stationed there to represent their interests deeper within the mountains. And once he proved that he was not hostile to them, and he tells you all of this sheepishly, as if he were embarrassed to admit to associating with Duragar. But iron's iron, and you get what you can where you can. He makes you swear to secrecy that his reputation as a dwarf would forever be tarnished. Were it to be revealed that he'd traded coin for gray steel. But he gives you a description of the narrow canyon in which they camped, and tells you, while it's been a few years, there is a chance they are still there or nearby. But what he tells you is the price they ask may be more than what you're willing to pay. And he won't say any more about that. Rogar, you find your way back to Zarakin's camp, where you find the Dragonborn Paladin, right where you left him. He greets you with a nod and a smile and doesn't say much. Asks you to cook him a meal, and invites you to spend time at his camp. And over the next couple of days, you basically learn from him that he really doesn't intend to ask for the weapon back. If it is something useful to you and your friends, and you continue to use it to bring light to dark places and defend the weak, it's better in your hands than in a hole in the ground. He reminds you that there is still a duty owed in removing the flame skulls from the crypt below, and carefully, cautiously, the two of you find your way down into the crypt again, and with much planning, take care of the flame skulls. One at a time, with the use of holy water. A technique the Elder Dragonborn teaches you. One of many, in fact, as you begin to learn from him how to harness these newfound abilities that are developing within you. Before long, you learn to swing your blade and channel the Platinum Dragon's energy, power that surrounds you and everything about you. You learn to draw it into the weapon and strike with a force that surprises you and even Zarakin to some extent. Already his superior with a blade, he is truly outmatched by you as you spar and train. But there is a depth of wisdom that the Elder Paladin holds that you find comforting, and you know that while you might best him in combat repeatedly, there are things you can learn from him beyond that, that keep you in his presence for some time. And so you find that days turn into weeks, and eventually you begin longing for the company of your friends, and find that while Zarakan's teachings are helpful, over time they become less helpful. So one day, you decide to part ways. And on that day, he also says that he is off for another realm, off for another adventure. That his time here is at an end, and his service is no longer required, guarding what really no longer remains below. You get a strange feeling that he's privy to more than he says. But you leave it at that and you part ways. Meanwhile, back in Phandalin, Lunalia, you pass time practicing your music with Darren Ettermath. As a result, you eventually gain proficiency in the performance skill. And through conversations with your blacksmith friend, you learn of... you gain some vague details about a weapon that he's looking to craft, and start to gather ideas on how you can help him. But you're not quite sure where to find these materials yet. We'll get to that in a minute. As well, you begin to delve into trying to understand the keystone that leads to the planar nexus. You spend long hours with it placed on the ground before you, staring into it. You begin to see patterns swirling and moving within it. The longer you concentrate on it, the longer you focus, the more of an affinity you gain towards unlocking its potential. You find that you must attune to it. And once attuned, you feel like there's something missing. Piece of the puzzle that's just slightly out of place. One night, one of the townsfolk comes looking for you. Says there is a cloaked man with burning eyes off in the woods to the south, who's sent for you. Cautiously, you stalk into the woods and find Ignis come to town as he promised finally. He refuses to get close to his adopted father and his sister. But at a distance, he stays, and the two of you talk. Over time, you begin to learn a little more about his backstory, his sister's backstory. You definitely line up your timeline with his and find that Ignis and Ember were two small orphan children in a city far to the south, rescued from the mean streets by Kelder Maloro, taken in, given all the luxuries that a modestly wealthy wizard could provide. But at the same time experimented on. Those experiments culminating in a fateful night in the Nexus where the two of them were infused with a massive amount of power, harnessed from the elemental plane of fire and channeled into them. Ignis remembers very little of it, but the years after, he remembers vividly. At first rejecting his newfound abilities and eventually coming to terms with it, whereas his sister took to her new powers very quickly, but not in a good way, turning more spiteful. The experiences, their time on the streets, the worst parts of humanity that they were privy to, perhaps scarring her so deeply that she vowed to use her powers for change, but not necessarily in a good way. You learn about Keldor Maloro from him as well. His experiments after turning the two of them into planar-infused creatures began to grow even more dangerous and outlandish. Some years after, in his teens, he finally decided to take action, stealing the keystone from his adopted father and disappearing. Absconding with the keystone prevented Keldrum from conducting any further experiments with the Nexus itself, but didn't halt his progress entirely, just slowed him down. Ignis disappeared, traveling abroad, learning more about himself and his powers as he grew. He's still not quite sure what he's after, but what he knows is he must keep the keystone away from them. They cannot be allowed to enter the Nexus again. You also learn that he spent quite a bit of time in the Nexus, meditating, listening, and he's claimed to hear voices, distant, unintelligible. But there's someone out there, there's something out there, maybe more than one voice, uncertain. And he invites you to join him. He teaches you the final step to unlocking the keystone. The word of something most dear to the keystone's creator. A word uttered by that creator, perhaps a name of someone they loved dearly. For Keldrum, it was the name of a woman he loved more than any other. And while Ignis won't tell you the name because it would give away the activation word for his keystone, it gets you thinking about something you heard in your father's recorded message. Something he called you. An elven word, Lorna Loth, which translated directly means lake blossom. Upon uttering that word, the keystone flares to light. Brilliant blue-green waves spring out from it, swirl around you and Ignis, and pull you into the Nexus, as if casting the plane shift spell. You thus unlock the ability to travel there at will once per day. And from within the Nexus, Ignis eventually teaches you how to travel back by activating the rings and shifting back to the material plane. A point of your choosing, as via the plane shift spell. He promises that there is a similar way to travel to the other planes via that interdimensional nexus as well. And perhaps that's something you save for a later time. Crispin, the sword continues to draw you toward it. Over the next few days, weeks, your curiosity is piqued. Something enters your dreams. You're not certain what it is. In the vague way that men of faith follow signs and portents. You're given visions. You begin to see in your mind's eye as you sleep a vision of an elf with dark skin and flowing white hair, wielding this weapon. You see hands forging this weapon. Great, massive hands. Someone with giant's blood. But the hands don't look right. They're almost as if made of stone and cracked, veins of magma flowing through them. A great hammer, an anvil. Arcane light flares as the hammer strikes the anvil. A massive pentagonal platform surrounding it. Flames all about. You see that drow again with the sword, standing on a wall over a city. Not familiar to you. A city by the sea. Green flame, like liquid rolling through the streets. The screams of those dying, and then bodies rising, twisted, burnt, shambling towards the city gates. The drow standing atop the gates with the sword outstretched. Runes down both sides of the blade, glowing brightly a sickly green color, that same color in the eyes of the undead, as they stare up towards their new master and march out of the city. You see that army march into caverns, and like ants flowing through tunnels, they wend their way down into a great city far beneath the earth. Something changes, and you know deep down that that is something that could have been and no longer is. But through that dream vision, you now see what it is that Deeb saw. And you have that same confirmation that it is no longer. But the sword remains, and you're aware of what it can do. And it still calls to you. Not with a voice anymore. But there is a subtle pull. You know where it is at all times. And you know that you could wield it if you wanted. And so we find ourselves a month or so in. The two opposing wizard towers now partly built. The temple atop the Trezendar crypt now almost finished. A humble building. Nearly complete. As the harvest comes, Lunalia, you find yourself helping the townsfolk with the harvest, as you are familiar from your home in Calafell, having spent much time with the grain maidens there. Your help is welcomed, and many in the town already know you, and you find yourself growing even closer to the townsfolk here, helping them through the harvest season. Rogar returns, and the party is united. And I think it's time to turn it back to all of you. And maybe specifically Lunalia and Noro. To have a little talk about a certain wood that might be useful in forging Noro's next weapon.
Let's do it!
Yeah, I mean, the two of us had spoken of it before, inside and outside of session. But Lunali would go in depth on what she knows of this wood, where she's heard it's been seen.
For the benefit of the others at the table, Noro, do you want to talk a little bit about, I don't know how much you've thought about this weapon you're looking to craft, or how much you want to reveal, but maybe the bit that you do want to reveal, tell us what it is Noro's thinking about doing, and why he would need an exotic wood.
Yeah, so What I'll reveal is, well, I had mentioned, I guess I talked about it with you as well, but my map actually leads to a metal, a strange metal. And this type of metal is from Durgar, dwarves. And this map was given to, from my father. And with this size of it's actually like a mace or a maul that needs to be built. And so with this wood, this specific wood would be the wood that needs to hold it. Because once I craft it, I have to return it back.
What do you mean return it back?
It's not for me to keep. I have to go back to basically the clan that taught me how to smith.
Oh.
But before I can do that, and from there, like, Noro is kind of like drifting and he doesn't want to share anymore. I just have to make it.
Well, as I said before, I will help you in any way that I can.
Thank you.
So the tree that she's talking about is just called blue leaf.
Mm-hmm.
It's relatively rare, but it's still found here and there all over the land. And there's a few places that she's heard of that it grows. But I'll leave it to Poker to determine where we're going to go for it.
Well, who would you ask about? In town, there's a few folk who are either well traveled or from abroad. Would you talk to Kaldrum about it, or perhaps Paramon, or
Nope.
maybe?
She talked to Paramon about it.
Okay.
She'd talk to Darren. Darren's well traveled. She would talk to, what the hell is the name of the guy who's in charge of the militia?
Ulrich?
Ulrich. She would talk to him. He's not as well traveled. Not that she really knows that much about him. These trees are not ultra rare. They just don't grow in very many places.
Ulrich is surprised that you came to him, but happy to see you and happy that you thought of him. He really doesn't have an idea. Darren's answer is not as helpful as you'd hoped, but relatively obvious. He tells you that he's certain the forests of Galanor hold such trees, but that is a long ways off and would take significant time to travel there. Paramon is more useful. He confirms that Galanor is definitely a place to go, and even offers a means of travel, offering to teach Louis a teleportation circle that he has in his book that would take you there. But he stops and thinks, and then mentions that there may be a grove of such trees much closer to home, to the east. And while he's not certain where, he utters a name that you haven't heard in a while, Erdrith Talisphere. A Variel, a winged elf who some of you met when you were in Coneybury. Paramon just says, I think if anyone knows where in the deep wood such trees would grow, it would be him.
time to have a chat.
Yeah, where on the world map is he? He's sort of
let's
north of where Coneyberry
move you
was.
to the world map. So he actually has a lodge at Falcon's Rest up here.
Right.
And you met him sort of, around here. And he flew, I think he led you to Keldrim's woodland retreat here.
Hmm. Well, I mean, that seems as good a place as any to get some more information. It's definitely closer than anywhere else.
Then we'll prepare for travel, huh?
Yeah. Is
Lots of
Rogar
food.
back in town at this point?
Yeah, let's, we'll say he showed up a few days ago. And I imagine Crispin has found, some reason to stay near, perhaps watching the sword from a distance, associating with the party a bit. I don't know, Lucid, if there's anything you want to narrate about that, anything he might do further with the weapon, or if he's just keeping a close eye on it. One thing that would definitely worry him with, the insight from his dreams and just from what he felt and heard from the weapon is that it is dark and manipulative, and the hands that currently hold it, while not directly, are attached to a brain that may be weak to it. Don't give the barbarian the talking evil sword.
He thinks you're dumb.
Yeah, no, I would have just spent time probably with Lenine, like talking over, like learning more about my previous mentor, and then also like wanting to stay near the party, kind of to see who they are. It's not the full party that he had heard of, so figuring out who's left and what they're capable of.
And those of you who associate with Lenine, you would definitely see him around. He becomes a sort of a constant presence in the town. And perhaps if we suspend disbelief a bit and say, there are opportunities for you all to get to know each other well enough that you might take him with you on an outing. Crispin, you would certainly want to go with them to keep an eye on that blade that Noro bears. In fact, I'd say you might feel driven by divine purpose to do something about it at some point to help put that blade to rest, put it to use, perhaps. Or at least make sure it doesn't fall into the wrong hands. It is the most powerful object you've ever observed.
And Noro's just keeping it with him in its slender box.
Yeah, what is Noro doing with it?
Using it to pick his teeth.
Toothpick. No, I'm just keeping it in the box, and as a trustworthy friend would do.
And I think Noro, it's highly likely that Paramon would counsel you to avoid trying to break the blade by conventional means. Such a powerful artifact would likely require significant effort and a large amount of power to break. In fact, he's not even sure what it would take. And so he would counsel you to keep it safe for now and keep it out of hands. Right. So,
Would it be better I leave it with I
With Paramon, maybe?
Yeah, with Paramount or the Smithy?
Paramount would want no part of it. It's certainly something he doesn't want around him.
Maybe I can ask Dalgrim.
I have a feeling you're going to be stuck carrying it. It's bad news for other people.
Oh.
Dalgrim would be more than happy to take it. He seems oblivious to whatever the hell it is. You know what? Make an insight check for me.
Also, Poker, can I add proficiency to my performance?
Yeah, I don't know how.
I'll figure it out.
You want me to roll what again? Sorry.
Make an insight check.
All right. There we go. Big 20.
Holy
Very
shit.
close.
Well, that's good. It's funny how a single dice roll can change the course of events. That idea comes to you to maybe have Dalgrim hang on to it. He's a trusted friend, and he's a relatively reputable blacksmith. When you talk to him about it, he seems more than eager to hang on to it for you, but there is something in his words that worries you. And it really comes down to he doesn't seem to understand how dangerous this thing could be.
Oh, shit.
And you think better of it and decide not to leave it with him.
Yeah, I'm like, I had Dalgrim, I just wanted to buy you another drink. Here you go.
Like, you have this sudden flash of, like, coming back to Phandalin, and he's in the middle of a town with glowing green eyes holding this sword, and everybody's dead around him. And you're like, on second thought, no.
Got it.
Would it be safe in Louis' bag of holding?
Oh.
It would be, it'd be safer. Yeah, for sure.
He is a cop.
That's true.
Let's slip it in there while he's not looking.
Yeah,
and if he doesn't know what's in there...
He is a mage cop. I imagine he'd probably be okay with hanging on to it. He definitely understands, what it is.
Okay, let's do that. I'll drop it in the bag.
Easy enough. RF, wherever you are out there, I hope you're okay with that, because we're leaving it with Louis.
I don't feel comfortable carrying that thing around.
It's fine. You guys left it with, Lenine, the level 3 wizard NPC, for, like, weeks. I'm sure it'll be fine with Louis.
Yeah, her brain is bigger than mine, so...
How do you intend to head out towards Falcon's Rest? Are you going to ask somebody for help? Are you going to use the Bloodstone to get, to a well-known location between here and there, and then journey the rest of the way?
Can we go the old-fashioned way by a horse?
Yeah, you certainly can, and mechanically there's no advantage to taking horses, so you could just hoof it.
I'll ask Crispin if he's bored. He can come along.
It never hurts to have somebody with the ability to heal. That's not me.
Be fun, an opportunity to see what you guys can do.
Well, hopefully there won't be a need for that anywhere.
Alright.
You pointed a sword or a spear at me in the middle of a shop. I'm sure you'll find something to point it at.
You reach for a dangerous talking sword.
That's what I was asked to do.
You were asked to look at it. As far as I know, there's 2 eyes for looking.
Alright. You guys done bantering. I'm gonna get some food. And lots of it. Then we'll go.
Yeah, I guess we're probably full on travel rations, etc., etc.
Yeah, I really haven't tracked it too closely, but the map says you get 10 provision points. It's good enough for me. I am going to... let's see. I'll just map this out here. let's say you make a straight shot to the road, and then... $90 miles.
Wow.
4 days. 4 days of travel on foot. Much of it on, along a road that is relatively safe. However, without Louis's magical house, you will be camping out in the open.
No problem.
All right.
I mean, between Lunalia and Rogar, I mean, Noro doesn't really get cold anyway.
Nope, mountain born.
But, there's enough of us with survival proficiency and, being used to living off the land.
Yeah, I'm used to sleeping on the floor.
Well, and as several DMs before me have said, once you get to a certain level, you really don't have to worry so much about like bandits jumping you on the road. Nobody's gonna look at you guys and go, "I can take them," right? Like, no, they're gonna look at you.
Anybody that can isn't gonna be traveling down the road
exactly
looking for easy pickings.
Exactly. Yeah, nobody's gonna try and roll you in the middle of the night. You guys are all, pretty rough and tumble looking, and highway bandits are gonna they're gonna go after somebody easier. So you travel eastward, wending your way down the hills to the Edelvine Valley and east through the Colwyn Vale, finally reaching a bridge that some time ago was a place of much interest for a short period of time. Crispin, this is an area familiar to you. You came through Coneybury on your way west. I don't recall. Did you spend time there?
Not necessarily time, but kind of explore the remnants of it to see, after hearing rumors of what I was gonna travel through.
Yeah, I think we talked about you were drawn there, and found the place, and I imagine maybe Crispin walking slowly through what's left of the town, hearing echoes of what had happened there, and maybe seeing brief glimpses of visions of what happened, perhaps reconstructing it in his mind's eye. Based on the evidence about, perhaps combined with a little bit of, divine-inspired vision, revealing to you what happened there. You might have felt a sense of an object of terrible evil that was removed from the place. There is almost a hole in time and space where that object was and no longer is. And you might interpret that as it was taken and destroyed. Would Crispin ask anybody in the party, knowing that, probably having heard around town that, they were the ones responsible for taking care of this place? Would he catch up with the party on what they'd done there, or?
Yeah, while traveling, he would ask the party, after hearing that they were involved in it, what happened here?
Rogar would fill him in.
Okay. Yeah, and so you catch up on all of that and gain an even better understanding of what happened, and a lot of it fits in with the glimpses and visions that you had in this place, and some of it's new to you. Once you pass the bridge in Coneybury and begin traveling northward towards Falcon's Rest, travel becomes a little less certain. Lunalia, go ahead and make a survival check. Let's see how you do. Will you do that? I'm going to measure out this last leg of the journey.
It's not the greatest.
Oh, yeah.
It's not terrible either. So you have a choice. You're relatively certain where you're headed. You see the ridge of mountains off in the distance, not anywhere near as high as the Sierras to the south, but jagged peaks that extend up. Not quite high enough to be snow-capped this time of year here in the middle of fall. You're fairly certain that you're headed in the right direction, that Falcon's Rest, as you've been told, sits on a low outcropping at the foot of one of the mountains. And you have a choice to either cut through the eastern corner of the Elmshade Deepwood or circle around it.
I mean, she'd be for going through it, if it's the most direct route.
It is. It'll save you, the way you're traveling, it'll put you at Falcon's Rest at nightfall, as opposed to having to camp one more night and arrive middle of the next day. It'll shave about half a day off your trip. I'm also going to reduce your provision points by 4.
Damn.
Well, sorry. Reduce by 4, not reduce to 4. There we go. Grassland turns to brush turns to forest. Sparse trees and shrubbery rises into massive trees. A canopy forms overhead as the setting around you darkens as you move into the forest. Well enough lit at first, although softly, as the sun filters through the trees, dappling the land about you. Eventually, the canopy grows denser, opening occasionally, closing in again, opening occasionally, closing in again. Here and there you come across hidden streams and small hills that impede your progress that you have to travel around. And then it begins to open up again. Let's have somebody in the party make one more survival check as you go.
I'd say Rogar.
Nice.
Nice.
Well, Rogar, as you're moving through the wood, you find yourself on a rather wide trail, relatively well-traveled. Looks like not just by game, but perhaps by people on foot as well. Your survival roll lets you see recent footprints. Paw prints, large paw prints. Small footprints. There's something familiar about this, but the size of those footprints and the shape. You look up ahead as you pass a small pond, and you catch movement on a low ridgeline ahead of you. You begin to hear growling in the distance. And your survival check was good enough to avoid this being a surprise round. As you see familiar-looking large hounds. Strangely humanoid faces. They growl and begin to bark in a unsettling manner as you find yourself surrounded by fey creatures here in the forest. I'm gonna roll initiative.
Oh man! Don't forget to click your character once Poker has them on the map.
They should actually already be on the map.
Oh yeah, they are. I was just zoomed way out.
Oh gosh.
Oh, it's the guys who throw rocks.
No!
It's Vincent's favorite.
You know, I thought I'd throw this in here not only because it fits the narrative of Alcendra's minions are always on the lookout for all of you, especially when you're in the forest, but also as sort of a chance to try out the new guy in combat.
Cool picture.
Yeah, I've been hanging on to this one for a long time. All right, let me see if I can.
I believe Nora would go before Rogar.
And I'm gonna do all three Yeth Hounds at the same time. We'll do the two Korrids at the same time as well.
A red cap. There's a movie out about red caps.
Is there?
Yeah. Me and Dave have watched the trailer for it a couple of times.
Oh, well, they're all going at the same time. And actually, I don't even need to have all of them on the initiative tracker, just one for each creature type. And the red cap... +1. Ugh. Rip my dudes.
Good.
Set the combat round, and I think we're good to go. Does anybody want to take a quick break before we start, or are you guys good to jump in?
Oh, let's do this.
Yeah, I think we're good to go.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Well, Rogar alerts the party to the presence of these fey creatures about you. As they begin to close in, Lunalia, what are you doing?
Well, this is a new spell for me. Seeing that we're sort of surrounded on multiple sides, she is going to cast a spell called Conjure Woodland Beings. And she is going to conjure 2 fey creatures of challenge rating 1 or lower, and it's the DM's discretion what they are.
All right. Yeah. Let me pull up the encounter builder, and I'll bring up. Go create a new encounter, and let's go. Said challenge rating 1 or below.
1 or lower, yeah.
Monster type Fey. Max CR of 1. And it's 2, right?
Yep. I can either do 2 of challenge rating 1, 1 of challenge rating 2, 4 of half, or 8 of 1/4.
Wow.
So really, you can choose whatever you want.
Well, that's interesting. I really like the idea of Darklings. Challenge rating 1/2, 4 of them. What do you think?
Yep.
Fancy.
Now, I'm going to see if I've got Darklings on my creature palette.
I'm pretty sure you do.
I don't know. You guys have never actually fought Darklings. No. That's okay. I should be able to find a token form real quick. And do they spawn in wherever, like, do you control them, or?
I will on my turn, yes.
Hmm.
I have to roll initiative for them once they're on the field as a group. They'll all go pretty much the same time.
Yeah, I'm creating a token for them because I don't actually have one. They are a small creature, I believe. Now, theoretically, you can open that page and actually roll for them. But I'm not entirely sure how well that'll work.
No problem. It goes directly to the DM, I don't know why. I'm assuming that Korred is up on a hill.
He is, yeah, he's 20 feet up. Sorry, I'm just importing a Darkling token here. And shrink him down to size, and let's go. Uh, 13 hit points, AC 14, speed 30 feet, and okay, there's your 4 Darklings. See if you can move them around.
Yep.
Nice. Okay, good. Well, there's your Darkling army. Go ahead and place them wherever is appropriate for the summoning spell, and...
If she would have just dumped them right in front of her. I
Okay.
did roll initiative. You would have gotten it as a whisper in roll 20.
Ah, I see. Let me just add them. Modify that. Well, that's convenient. They go right after you. So, I imagine, like, when you cast the spell, there's like what, do they grow out of the ground? Is there like a fey portal that opens up?
I would imagine they sort of, grow out of the ground.
These, here, I'll display a picture for you guys. These small, sort of dark, twisted-looking, gnomish fey creatures crawl out of the ground out of a tangle of roots and vines that burst forth. They look around, their beady red eyes locking on Lunalia, seemingly waiting for her command.
But did you raise the dead?
They're not dead. They're here to help us. And she will send 2 of them at one hand and 2 at the other.
Alright. 30 feet of movement should be easy enough for them to reach the hounds.
So she'll put the first one here, and he's going to just do a dagger attack.
Mm-hmm.
Does that hit?
It does not. You should be able to hit the big red button above the attack, and it'll do both the attack and damage roll at the same time.
Oh, okay. Well, he missed, so the next guy's gonna go up. Do the same thing.
That hits for... Whoa! Oh snap! That's pretty badass. So he hits the Earthhound, slashes out with a pair of small daggers, and as they flash, there is a dark energy that assails the Hound. Total of 9 points of damage.
Nice.
Okay, she's going to say in Elvish to the other two, for the other one. And he'll do the same thing.
Wow. Yep. These little creatures sprint forth, producing flashing silver daggers and slashing into these hounds. They seem to be quite effective. Crispin.
So many spells.
Nice.
Push all the buttons.
I have to use the right tool to move my character. I'm gonna move up a little bit. And then I'm going to cast Bane.
One might say you're just a stone's throw away.
Conveniently, there's some boulders on the map.
Of course. Yeah, he's gonna pick up one of those and hit me right in the head.
It's okay.
But I'm gonna target the Korad, the right Yeth Hound, and the Red Cap.
Mm-hmm. That is concentration, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna put a little colored blip on them for Bane. And
They have to make a save for
oh,
Charisma.
you're right. The Korad makes a Charisma save. Nope. So he is baned. The
Nice.
Red Cap makes a Charisma save. Nope. He is baned.
Hell yeah.
And the Yeth Hound makes
You've got a
a
dark on the Darkling instead of the Yeth Hound.
And
all
the
look
Yeth
the
Hound
same.
makes a Charisma save and is also baned.
Nice debuff.
There. And that's subtract a d4 from the roll. Got it.
And then I'm gonna bonus action summon a spiritual weapon at the Korad.
Oh shit, what's your spiritual weapon look like?
It's like a mace.
Nice.
Alright, well I don't have a mace, so you get a sword.
That's fine.
But I can add one in the future. Let's just do this. Double click and controlled by Crispy.
All I can think is that if Solmia were here, that's what he'd be called.
Mm-hmm.
Crispy.
Crispy.
Yep.
Wait till we find our first fireball. It might be his name.
I don't recall. Do you get an attack on the first turn with the spiritual weapon, or?
Yeah, it says you create a floating, and when you cast a spell, you can make a melee spell attack against a creature within 5 feet of the weapon, and then as a bonus action.
I'm gonna say yes, because according to Baldur's Gate 3, when you do that, you can do the max distance and attack if it's in range. If you didn't use up all your movement.
Yeah, so yeah, it's got a 60-foot range cast, so you cast it right next to the Korred and then attack him with it. Cool. And then every turn after that, you can move it 20 feet and attack.
Wait, that was
as your
1d8
bonus
for
action.
some reason.
So,
How do you do melee spell attack? Is it just clicking the spell attack button?
yeah, I think, I'm not sure. Go to the details page for that spell. Yes. Yeah, it'd be the melee spell attack button. Oh! That is a big roll. Yeah, that hits. So that hits for 4 points of damage. D8 plus your spellcasting ability modifier. So, the
Plus
D8
5?
plus... You have plus 5?
Damn.
Yeah,
From Charisma?
from wisdom.
Oh, sorry, your wisdom's 20?
Yeah.
Holy crap. Look at this guy. So 9 points of damage to the Korred.
Nice job, Gandhi.
Gandhi.
I don't know. I figured he would have a 20 in wisdom.
Alright, anything else for Crispin, or is that it?
Nope, that's it.
Mr. Noro.
I'm
you
gonna
doing?
freaking rage! Because I remember these guys and what they did to Scribble. And because Crispin won't know what I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna say, for Scribble! And I'm raging and I'm gonna throw a spear at Corin. I can remember how to do this.
Spear is it 20 foot, 60 foot range, or is it something else?
You're correct. 20 foot, 60 foot.
From
And I
where
think
you're
I'm
standing, it's a disadvantage unless you want to close the distance.
Yes, I will do that. So is that okay, or 25 feet? Does that work? What makes it a disadvantage when it's beyond the 20 feet?
Yeah. So if a ranged weapon has a normal range and a long range, and if it's past the normal range, it's a disadvantage. So there you go. Perfect.
Okay, sweet. Okay, now I can say it. For Scribble!
The 18 hits. The javelin flies through the air, striking true for a total of 12 points of... Oh. It hits. It doesn't seem to do as much damage as you'd hoped. The damage is halved.
Oh. He's one of those guys.
Yeah, they're tough. They have very stony skin. Here's a little picture of what they look like.
No, I don't want to see it.
They're kind of cute. In a weird stony gremlin goat kind of way.
And they weave rope from their own hair. Because,
Because of course they do.
Yeah. Second attack, Noro?
I'm blinded with rage, so I'm gonna climb up the wall. Can I do that?
You can... Let's see. It would be half your movement climbing, unless you have something, boots or something that helps with that.
I do not. Okay, well, Noro not carrying, he throws his second javelin.
Okay.
Oh, I made a mistake. It's 3120. I was looking at hand axe. That's fine. I'm still gonna do it.
You have the boots of speed, don't you?
It's not attuned right now.
Oh, okay.
Wait. Yep, I'm just gonna throw it. Take this. Oh god.
Do you still have the boots of Jim?
The boots
What?
of the gym?
The boots of
the
Jim?
gym? Yeah, dude. I still have those. I got Jim's boots.
I
Boots
couldn't
of
figure out
Jim.
what the hell you were talking about.
Unfortunately, a 10 does not hit. The Korrid is spry and tough, and he manages to deflect the javelin, just reaching up and batting it out of the way with his forearms. If that's your turn, now it's his.
Yep.
Oh, dude. Oh, boy. As you've
don't
seen
know.
before, he picks up a boulder. And, yeah.
Doesn't Rogar go first?
Oh, he does. Sorry. How the hell did I... There you go. I must have accidentally double-clicked. Rogar.
I will charge the red cap.
Okay.
And just... Good old faithful.
Shing, shing, shing. Oh my god.
Oh.
A 24 very definitely hits the diminutive, angry-looking clawed gnome with the massive sickle. Let's see, is there anything that... Nope. Yep, nope, it just hits. And 8 points of slashing damage.
And then the knock prone with the shield. For
And
bonus
that is
action.
a strength save.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ooh.
Ooh.
But he's baned, so he has to subtract a d4.
Oh, yeah, and sorry, yeah, not... it's not a... Oh, it's just a contested. Okay, here. I'm gonna roll athletics instead, because... he has a +6 to athletics. Or just add 2 to that. So 17. Just call it 17. That's an athletics check, and then we're going to subtract a d4.
Well, is it a save or not?
It's not. It's like a grapple, right?
Yeah. Like an attack.
So he doesn't have to subtract, it's just a saving throw.
Oh, it's only on saves?
Yeah, it's subtract the number rolled from an attack or saving throw.
Oh, okay. It's a skill check. Unless I'm wrong, Rogar. I think it's just contested, right? It's just a grapple.
Yeah, I think we just roll contested. It's like
Okay.
grappling.
Then 17, he manages to... he reaches up with his sickle, grabs it with both hands, and pushes back against your shield as you try and knock him down. But you've still got another attack, and that hits true for 9 points of damage. As the Dragon Slayer longsword cuts into him, drawing a sickly blackish colored blood that spatters across the rocks.
Well, that's with a maneuver.
Another
Needs to
3
make
points of damage.
Yeah. He needs to make a wisdom saving throw. He has disadvantage on all attack rolls against targets other than me.
Cool.
Oh.
Well, I'd say you've pissed him off, so you know he's going to attack you anyway. Sufficient threat built. On the Korrid's turn, it's going to chuck rocks.
What a piece of shit.
Son of a biscuit.
It picks up a small boulder and throws it at Noro.
How do I catch it?
I don't think you can. Does a 16 hit you?
I want to say no, but yeah.
Let's see. That is a D8 plus 6 or 3d8 plus 6 if the Korrid's on the ground, which I don't quite understand, but if it is on the ground, so
What the?
yeah, it's strange. So it hits you for a total of 19 points of bludgeoning damage.
Is this considered a ranged attack?
It is.
Then it throws it at me and misses.
And it's also baned. Not that
that's right.
matters, but I'll roll it just for fun. So yeah, actually that's a 13. It's going to chuck another rock.
Son of a biscuit hurts.
23.
Oh my God.
Gonna catch it with your face.
Crispin, does that happen more than once a turn, or is it as a reaction?
I think it's every single time. It says whenever a ranged or weapon attack is made against a target within 10 feet of you, it causes you to become the target instead.
That's powerful.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, there's no limit there. Okay, so here's what happens. He throws it 23. There's no way that's not going to hit. Even with minus 2, so 21. As this boulder flies through the air, it arcs sharply, curving towards Crispin. And I'm guessing it hits you then.
Yeah, 21 hits.
For a total of 11 points of bludgeoning.
Nora just like looking at Crispin like, what the?
Except I have resistance.
To bludgeoning damage?
It says to ranged attacks.
Really? From the... Oh. Look at that. That's crazy.
Dude, you're like a one-man army frontline.
Cleric tanks, man. Party's got 3 tanks now. It's crazy. I can throw big shit at you, not just rocks. The card's last thing it's going to do is a bonus action. It is going to cast, or it's going to use its Command Hair ability. Commands a rope woven out of its own hair.
You were serious.
To move up to 20 feet and entangle a large or smaller creature that it can see. 10, 15. Yeah, it's gonna rope Noro.
Son of a biscuit.
Need Noro to make a dex save.
Here we go.
This sickly grayish black looking tangle of hair comes flying towards you. Not out of the cord's hands or anything. It just kind of snakes, sort of coiled around its waist. It snakes out from around its waist and shoots out towards you. You manage to step to the side, and it hits the ground harmlessly next to you, but it is writhing around, and you imagine that it could still try and grab you again. I am going to draw it, just so that it's there. 10,
wait.
15, 20.
I made a mistake. Would this be an attack I can see?
It's technically not an attack.
Oh, because it says here I have advantage on dex saving throws against effects that you can see.
Oh yeah. You have advantage, but I mean, you already made it.
Oh, okay.
All right, that's the Korrid's turn. He is gonna stay put.
So that hairline stays there?
Yeah, it's a rope of hair that's just laying on the ground, writhing around.
Is it on? Is it? You said writhing around it, but is it like attached to anything?
Nope. It shot out towards you. You step to the side, and it's just laying on the ground. But
okay.
Every turn he can command the rope to move further. Like this, he doesn't even have to be hanging onto it. He can just command a rope of his hair that's laying on the ground somewhere. It's kind of gross. Yeth Hounds on their turns. We're gonna start with the one at the top. He is going to. He's gonna bite one of the little guys for a total of 10 points of piercing damage. The psychic does not happen.
Yeah, it's
this one. So I
Yep.
don't know if you can see their hit points, but I just adjusted his hit points. He's now at 3.
I can't, but that's fine.
The next
I'm
Yeth
keeping a
Hound
tally.
also bites. I think that just hits. For
Yep, that hits.
9 points of piercing damage, and the third Yeth Hound is going to. I think he's just gonna have to.
There's a third one?
South of Rogar.
Down here.
Those things are ugly.
No, I wasn't
Apparently
seeing that. I didn't see it.
No, neither was I.
Yeah, I need everybody to make a DC 13 Wisdom saving throw, as he opens his mouth unnaturally large, and you hear this horrible baying sound coming out of him. This unearthly howl. Or makes it. Good lord. Lunalia makes it. Crispin makes it. Noro makes it.
Oh.
Okay, going from top to bottom, I will roll for the Darklings.
Okay.
It's just wisdom for them, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, top one.
Nope. Okay.
So the top two both failed.
Just the top 2. Got it. I will put a yellow marker on them because they peed themselves. They are frightened. If they're within 30 feet of that hound, they have to use all their movement to get as far away from the hound as possible.
And it was the bottom one that cast it?
It was the bottom one that cast it, but it affects anything within 300 feet that can hear it. Everybody else is immune for the next 24 hours, so that was a one-timer. On the red cap's turn, it's just going to attack you 3 times, Rogar, with its sickle. 1, 2, and 3, and I'm going to roll the 3 Banes for those 2. Yeah, so the first one's a 13, the second one is a 22 crit, and the third one is a 6. No, sorry, the third one is a... My math. The first one's a 13, the second one is a 22, and the last one's a 9. So only one of those 3 hits, right?
Yep, so just the crit.
So a total of 12 points of slashing damage as jagged, rusty sickle arcs out towards you. And that is his turn.
I will retaliate with a maneuver.
Oh, shit.
Go Rogar. Go Rogar. Wow.
That's 7 plus 8, 15 points.
7 plus 8, yeah.
And that's against one of the attacks that misses, right?
Yes.
You turn his blade aside with your shield and stab out with the longsword, catching him just under the shoulder. The blade goes deep, and there's a spatter of black blood on the stones around him.
He doesn't spell mushroom soup?
Nope. Top of combat, and it's back to you, Lunalia.
Ew.
Your summon spell is concentration, or?
It is concentration.
Gotcha. I'll put a concentration marker on you.
I'm pretty sure anyway. Let me double check. Yes. Okay, of course, every other spell she has is concentration.
It do be like that sometimes.
All times.
That do be how it be.
Alright, she's gonna cast Blight at the Korrid.
Oh, okay. What's my saving throw there? On?
It is a DC 13 con, 16 con.
He makes it. I mean, even Baned, he makes it. With a 23. That's half of 26?
Yeah.
Anything else? Bonus action movement?
She's going to... No, she's gonna stay in... She's gonna stay where she is. Actually, she's gonna move back here a little bit.
The small creature's form crumples a bit as the life is drawn from it. But it seems to be quite hardy. It is the Darklings' turn. Starting with the two at the top. They're not within 30 feet of the hound that bayed, so they don't have to move away from it. But they are frightened.
Does that mean disadvantage on attacks?
It's a really good question. Disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls while the source of its fear is within line of sight. It's a distance, but it is line of sight.
Okay, so they attack with disadvantage.
Correct.
Okay, if shift... Oh, there we go. Okay, so the top one's gonna go. I don't know why these are only rolling to you, but that's fine.
Oh, there's an option. It's an option that you guys would have never have used because you don't normally roll on creature stat blocks, but there's a Whisper DM option for monsters.
Okay, so, whatever. That's what the first one is.
It's a 7, so that misses.
Second one?
It's a 6, so that misses. And then...
bottom two are going to do the same thing.
That's a... they're not at disadvantage, though.
Oh. Well, that one's a crit, so...
Well, yeah, but it's... I mean, it's...
Right.
Yeah, just re-roll it.
Of course. So they all miss.
Alrighty, Crispin.
Have to see if I can find the option to turn off the whisper.
It's a secret.
Yeah, it's the second option from the top. Whisper monster rolls to the DM. Change it to use general whisper setting, I think. Fixes that.
In D&D Beyond or Roll20?
Beyond 20 browser add-in.
Oh. Okay, well I gotta find that, hang on.
Basically, it's an option for DMs, because I don't always want you to see my monsters' rolls. Like, if they make a private, like, insight check or something, I don't want you to see it. So I have it set to...
Okay, well I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out while you continue.
Crispin?
I'm going to look up at the Korath and cast Toll the Dead.
Bong. That's a saving throw, is it not? Wisdom?
Yeah.
Does a 15 make it?
No, it's DC 18.
It does extra damage if they've taken damage?
Yeah, if they're not at full life, then it does 2d8 plus 5.
Ooh.
That's for if it does 2d12 plus 5 if they've taken damage before.
Oh yeah, he's down quite a ways, so it does
So
more.
he takes 21 points of necrotic damage.
21.
What? Wow.
As the sound of this ominous bell rings out, the Korad staggers, and you can see sickly-looking blood pouring from its nose and ears. Anything else for you? Bonus action movement?
No movement, but bonus action attack with a spiritual weapon.
Got it.
Keeps moving around on me.
Yeah, 23 definitely hits. 12 points of force damage. Yikes. Alright, Noro, it is to you. There is this creepy-looking hairy rope wriggling around on the ground to your left. The Korad looks hurt pretty badly. The Yethhound's less so.
How heavy would this rope be?
You can pick it up, but at this point you can tell that this Korad is controlling it, and he's not hanging on to the other end of it. You would surmise that he tried to grapple you with it, so remaining close to it, picking it up, it doesn't really make a difference. Like, you can try and do something with it, but it's probably going to try and grapple you next turn, if you're anywhere near it.
Well, Noro is hardcore fixated on this guy. He wants to climb up there.
Okay. I think you've got enough movement to do it. Just, let's have you make a athletics check as you climb.
Alright.
Oh yeah, easy enough. And you have a total of, what's your movement? Is it 40 feet?
Yeah.
So you move 10 feet up to the base of it, and it's 20 feet up at half movement speed, so it's, it would actually take 50 feet of movement total to get to the top.
Can I hang out on the ledge?
Sure can. Yeah, you can hang
Cut
out
him at
there.
the ankles.
I'll hang out on the I'll hang out on the ledge and try to pull the rope down, I guess. It's my final action.
Well, I mean, he's not holding onto the rope, so yeah, you grab the rope and pull it down, and it just drops harmlessly to the ground below you.
Alright, I just didn't want it near me.
It lays at the base of the boy. Yeah, the rope sits at the base of the cliff, 15 feet below you. Rogar.
Okay, cool. It does work.
21 is a hit. As you cut deeply into the Yethhound, it yelps.
Yethhound. I'm attacking
The red cap. It yelps, blood spattering the ground. And I think a 17 finishes it off. Yeah. How do you finish it off?
Just stab it through the chest.
As you do, there's just a silent gurgle. Its heavy blade drops to the ground and its body follows it. Next.
I will go after the F hound closest to me.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, cool, I can make it. I don't think I have anything I can use on my bonus action. I'll knock it down, because I attacked on my turn.
Right. Well, let's see. That's does not have a skill, so it's just a strength. Natural one for a natural one for a 1 because he's baned. Leprone.
Yep, that's it.
Oh, you're not gonna... Oh, yeah, that's right. You use both attacks. Gotcha. On the Korad's turn, you know what? He's gonna use Command Hair again. Noro, the hairy rope jumps up from the ground and attempts to grapple you. I need you to make a dex save. That'll do it. It wraps around your leg, you shake it free. You get the feeling that it was trying to pull you off the cliff's edge. The Korad grins and throws a rock at you.
Son of a bitch.
That's not going to hit, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12 doesn't hit. He picks up another one. Nope.
Oh my god. Got lucky.
Somehow you managed to dodge 2 boulders while hanging onto the cliffside. And that is his turn. He's gonna... No, you know what? I'm gonna make a... let's just do this. Yep. He's gonna get out of here. He's gonna turn and run. The spiritual weapon gets a attack of opportunity, I think.
What about me? I want to grab his ankles.
What grab a second? I don't know if it does.
It does not. It does not. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Jeremy Crawford says if the spell's description said it would, it could, but it does not. So he is going to turn and boogie his entire movement, which is... Really? He's going to burrow into the ground and disappear from sight. Gone. As he does, the rope of hair that lays on the ground stops moving entirely and lies inert. On the Yethhound's turns, we'll start with the guy at the top. He is going to... He's going to bite the bottom of the 2 Darklings. 22 hits for a total of... What is that? 29 points of damage. So that psychic damage only affects frightened creatures. And as he bites the Darkling, it bursts into a flash of energy. Okay, Lunalia, I need that other Darkling to make a DC 10 con save. Avoid being blinded. Oh, this doesn't do any damage. Interesting. So the Darkling is blinded, and the Yethhound is also blinded. The Yethhound attempts to attack the other Darkling at disadvantage, being blind. No, misses. It's its turn. The next Yethhound is prone. He's gonna stand up. Yeah, he's gonna take a snap at Rogar. Does a 20 hit?
Yes.
He hits you for 10 points of piercing damage. As he bites into your leg. That's his turn. The red cap is dead. I'm not sure why I left him. And top of combat, Lunalia, it's to you.
She is going to take a sling attack at the far Yethhound. Why? Hang on a sec.
Uh, 14 just hits. The top one or the bottom one?
Top one. Oh, the top one. The farthest one away.
Got it. Yeah, you pelt it good with a stone. It hits it upside the head, and the hound yelps in pain. Bonus action movement.
No. She's gonna stay where she is.
Okay. Darklings Turn. The one up top is no longer feared.
Yeah, so the one up at the top is gonna do the same maneuver. I'm assuming that hits.
That does hit. Yeah, their AC is 4. 5 points, 6 points, 11 points. The two little daggers flash out viciously and carve into the Yethhound. The Yethhound is not doing well. How about the other two Darklings?
The other two are just gonna attack the other one. Top one first.
Yep. For 11.
Oh, that's a miss.
Unfortunately, that misses. That's them. Crispin, it's back to you. Just these 3 Yethhounds left. The one off in the distance to the north of you is on death's door. The other 2 look... The one in front of you is hurt, and the one to the south is fine. I will say it looks like they're...
I keep forgetting about that one to the south because I can't see it.
It looks like that one to the south is thinking about leaving.
I will toll the dead, the one up there that's hurt.
Alright.
So it's a wisdom save.
Highly doubt he's going to make it. Nope. 11 points of necrotic damage. The hound just collapses at the sound of the bell.
Ooh.
And I'll just bonus action move my sword towards the other one.
Got it. Noro. 15 feet off the ground. You've got a choice to make.
I I'm gonna climb to the top.
Are you gonna top rope this?
Don't land on my sword.
No, I'm actually looking for. Where did he dig?
Straight down. The ground is disturbed, loose earth, but it stopped moving. You really don't think that you could chase after him through it. They have 30 feet of movement speed burrowing. It's kind of insane.
Yeah, angrily, Noro climbs back down. I think I can make it to the bottom, right?
You absolutely can, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, there's a quick way to the bottom.
No thanks.
Yeah, if you want to just say that you dropped to the bottom, just make an athletics check to avoid falling damage and falling prone. And you can actually use the rest of your movement to get somewhere if you want.
Alright, well, while I was up there, I definitely grabbed my spears, and when I land at the bottom, can I throw it to that yeet hound?
Yep. Your choice, yeah, either one.
It's kind of far, so I know it's going to be like disadvantage.
It's a straight roll, right? Because you're raging?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
The Yeet Hound.
Here we go, yeet hound. Oh.
That hits for 10 points of damage, yeah.
Hell yeah. We're gonna eat tonight. Something to that effect.
Don't forget you have a second attack.
Oh, yep, sorry. Nice, yes, same one.
For 8 points of damage. Yeah, the two javelins fly through the air as you loose them one after the other, striking true. One of them buries rather deeply into the hound's side, and it grabs it in its strange-looking humanoid maw, rips it loose. The other one grazes it, doing a little bit less damage. But they both seem to have done a bit. That it for you? No bonus action?
Nope.
Alright, Rogar?
Just gonna whack this thing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that definitely hits. They both hit 9 and 8, 17 points of damage total. It's not doing very well. Your blade cuts deep, and the hound is starting to look for an escape. Bonus action, or are you done?
Fuck it, all action surge.
Ooh.
Two more
Short
attacks?
rest. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Both of those land, and actually the first hit kills it. So if you wanted to save the second or something else, you could.
Accidentally stab a Darkling.
They pop when you kill him.
I don't think I can reach the second Yeth Hound, so...
You could, like, throw your sword and shield to the ground, draw your bow, and take a shot.
I could. Yeah, I could.
It's the martial thing to do.
Do it. Do it.
30. Alright, I'll move. Once I kill the first one, I'll move 30 feet and then drop my shit and take aim. Yeah. there's no way it's hitting.
Oof.
It's just a flat roll.
It is. Somehow the Yethhounds have fallen off the... Oh, it's because I only put one of them in initiative and I deleted him. I'm pretty sure they were last. They were like 4 or 6 in the initiative order.
Yeah. Noro wants to yell, at least you look cool, Rogar.
On its turn, the Yethhound leaves. It uses its... oh my god, they can fly?
What?
I just realized they can fly. Yeah, they can run through the air.
Well, he better hope he can get more than 120 feet away from me.
Yeah.
What?
Also, by the way, this is not brightly lit, and sunny Yethhounds can't go out in the sunlight. This is, beneath the forest's canopy.
Oh.
But it's hard to find battle maps that are sufficiently dark. So, yeah, the Yethhound is going to turn and use double its movement and move 80 feet away from you. And I guess at the top of combat, you have a choice to either chase after it, cast a spell at it, or let it go. But
yeah, Lunalia's going to move her max towards it, so 30 feet.
Okay.
And she's going to cast Call Lightning.
Oh yeah, well that'll easily hit it. Yeah, so Rogar at 30 feet, 80, it would now be, 110 feet away from you?
I can still hit it with a longbow.
It's true.
Yeah, I'll take 2 shots at it again.
Let's let Lunalia cook it first.
That is the shittest damage of all time.
Ooh, 13 points.
Ooh. I think it's 12. I think the additional 1 is if it's a stormy weather.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. It fails its dex save, so it does take the full 13.
And it centered it right on it, so...
Yeah, a bolt of lightning arcs down and hits the hound. There's a flash, it disappears, and as your eyes adjust and the flash dissipates, you can see it sort of tumble mid-run and get back to its feet and keep going. I'm assuming the remaining Darklings are just gonna chill.
Oh no, they would have disappeared as soon as I cast the Call Lightning.
You see one of them just sort of nod at you and hold its daggers up in sort of a salute as they disappear. Noro, this hound's a good distance away. I don't know if you're going to try and go after it or just let it go.
I'm gonna let it go.
In that case, then... oh, sorry, Crispin.
I'm just gonna pull out a book from my pack and start writing something in it.
Interesting. Rogar, them shots. The 19 hits, the 8 doesn't.
Oh.
Ugh.
Oh.
Every little bit helps, but it's still going. On its turn, it moves another 80 feet away from you. So the total distance is now 160 feet plus whatever you see on the map. Top of combat, Lunalia, is that out of range of your lightning, or is it still in range?
If I centered it right on top of him, and it ran how far this turn?
80 feet.
I think it's out of my range.
I think at this point
Let me just double check.
it's probably disappearing into the underbrush as well.
Yeah, I'd be.
It's
I would be at
out of my range.
disadvantage if I shot anymore.
Well, I mean, Rogar, I'd say you'd get one more chance.
How fucked did it look?
It's got 15 hit points left. I don't know if you can kill it even with 2 shots.
I can make more arrows.
You know what? Before Lunalia goes, she would say to Rogar, "Can you hit it at this distance?"
There's a chance.
Okay. She's gonna cast Spike Growth.
At what?
At max distance of 150 feet.
It's 190 feet away from me.
Yeah, it's.
But it's only. But I'm farther in front of you.
It's running south. You're further away from it than he is.
Oh, I didn't realize Rogar also moved up.
Yeah.
So its total distance from you is roughly 180. It's 80,
Well,
160,
that's not where she
210
is, but-
feet.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh yeah, that's right. You moved 30 feet. Let's say you moved 30 feet twice, right? So it's 210 minus 60 is 150 feet. Yeah, so you're 150 feet away from it.
Okay, then she's gonna cast it.
What am I rolling? Difficult terrain for the duration. Moves into or within the area. Takes 2d4 piercing damage for every 5 feet it travels. Can't see the area at the time the spell is cast. Okay, so can see the area at the time the spell is cast. Yeah. It's going to... Pound... Nah, it keeps moving. It takes 4 points. And roll that 2d4 one more time.
God damn it.
Should be able to just click on the 2d4 and the... There you go.
Oof. Them low rolls. It gets about 10 feet and then stops. Rogar?
Oh, with disadvantage.
What?
Well, move up first.
I don't have enough range. Whoops.
Oh. Yeah, just do a single roll. Just do a flat roll again. Nice. That is enough to kill it. That last arrow catches it in the neck, and it drops into the spike growth. You see a splash of blood as the spikes continue to chew into it. And it expires.
Nice.
That is the end of combat.
That freaking rock guy got away. Isn't that what he did last time?
I think one of them got away last time as well, yeah.
Yep.
It might even be
Probably
the same guy.
goddamn guy.
Yeah, it might be the same guy.
At least it didn't
Came
almost
back
kill me
looking for
this
that
time.
bird.
It's true. Didn't hit you with any rocks.
Passive perception. Lunalia, you're aware, in the distance to the north, around here, you catch out of the corner of your eye, what looks like a brief, burst of snow. Like a a burst of ice crystals in the air that sort of shimmer into fine snow and float to the ground.
Sorry, I was on the other map. Where?
Just to the north above you. Basically where the Korad was, up on the cliff's edge. Further along the cliff's edge, a little ways back. Here, I'll just move you back. It's easier. It doesn't really matter. Up on the cliff. Up here.
Okay.
There's a burst of ice in the air that you just catch it out of the corner of your eye, like there was maybe something there, and it disappeared in a blast of cold.
Did anyone else see that?
I'm too busy de-raging. What happened?
Well, there was just a brief burst of frost, it looked like. It's gone now, though. Is Noro huffing soap?
Yeah.
I did not see it.
Strange, I don't know what would have caused that. Is everyone alright?
Well enough.
Good shot, Rogar.
I admit, I'm surprised I hit it from such a distance.
It was quite a shot.
Good shot, Dragon Slayer.
There's a rustle in the canopy above you and to the east a bit. A dark shape descends quickly before wings shoot out to either side, slowing its descent. It rapidly slows and touches down lightly. Humanoid, you see its silhouette at first. And as he approaches, you can see it is Airdrith, the dark-haired, pale-skinned, winged elf. His slender form, covered in ranger's gear, a bow in hand. And he smiles as he sees some people he recognizes. Greetings. I wondered who it was making so much noise in the woods below. He looks around.
Yes, just us.
What brings you back this way?
We are on a quest of utmost importance.
Oh?
We are looking for a very special type of wood.
He holds a hand up and waves it about. Well, I believe you've come to the right place. Anything particular I can help you find?
Yes, it's known as blue leaf. Have you heard of it?
He smiles and closes his eyes for a second, looks down, nods. I have. Alas, it is deeper into the wood to the north and west. And well, your journey there might prove perilous. For the wood is touched by a dark presence. I've thought to deal with it myself, but well, I believe it is more than I could handle alone.
What sort of a dark presence?
I have not ventured close enough to identify it. I just know that flying overhead I can feel it. There is a darkness. The trees are twisted. Unnaturally so. There are old ruins deep within the elm shade. Elven ruins from a time before this time. Perhaps the wood is twisted by ancient magics, a spell gone awry, or something else. I can help you find the way, but I cannot stray far from Falcon's Rest.
Any help you can give would be beneficial.
Well, if you're done here, and he looks around at the remains of the fey creatures, he stops for a second and thinks, his large eyes narrowing a bit. Who did you anger?
You'll have to be specific.
Which archfey did you anger? For it is rare to see such a variety of fey creatures all in one place after one target.
I believe we angered a giant green dragon. Calls herself Nalcendris.
We've been told she's not actually a dragon. It's just one of her preferred shapes.
He stops and thinks for a long few seconds. The name is familiar to me. Tell me, did you find her in the Feywild or here?
Ruins of Thundertree.
I see. Well, best be on guard. I'm relatively certain she will try again.
Well, this isn't the first time she sent Faye after us, so I'm sure we're used to it by now.
Let's see. Give me just a sec here. I'm just pulling up some party stats. Crispin, your passive insight is 15. There's something there. Maybe it's a little more clear to you because you don't know this individual. The party does seem to. They seem to have met him before. And it could just be that he is a guarded person with his words, but he knows more than he's letting on about this Nalcendris.
I wouldn't say much or anything about it because I don't know who it is. I would talk to the party after he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we should be on our way.
Yes, well, come, it's not far, a few hours on foot. I wouldn't recommend camping in the wood at night, not near where we're headed anyway. As I said, I must return to Falcon's Rest before too long, but I can set you on a path, and you can find the rest of the way. It will become obvious. The grove that you look for is, I believe, very near to the center of this darkness. And he sets off on foot, north and west into the trees.
Yeah, well, Lunali will follow him. What time of day is it?
It is afternoon, heading towards evening. You journey on foot for another 3 hours or so. And as you do, the canopy grows higher overhead as the trees get taller. The foliage growing denser, blocking out the sunlight. You imagine as the setting sun falls low on the horizon, it certainly doesn't help. The few shafts of light that make it through the canopy bend at an odd angle as the sun falls, eventually disappearing and leaving a dusky glow here in the depths of the deep wood. More than once, those of you with high perception, Lunalia, Rogar, Crispin, you feel as if you're being watched. At one point, you hear off in the distance what sounds like 1, 2, maybe 3 or 4 animals moving swiftly and silently. And as you stop to listen, they stop. But you get the feeling something is pacing you. Airdrith leads you further into the depths of the wood. The light dims further, and a strange mist begins to form that has a soft, bluish glow to it. He stops and waves his fingers through the mist, the tendrils coiling around them. Old magics. This is not to be feared. It is a remnant of the elven nation that once covered this land. He runs his fingers back and forth through the gathering mists, disturbing them, causing them to swirl and spin. Softly glowing wisps trailing off in different directions. Beautiful in an odd way. He holds his bow out, using it as a pointer. Pointing due north now. It says, "Into this valley. Another half hour on foot. Watch your footing. Watch your backs. I can go no further."
Well, perhaps we should stop for the night here then before we get any closer.
I would counsel against it, but that is your choice. I must return home.
Well, perhaps we'll backtrack for half an hour. I don't really want to continue on into the night.
That's wise. I wish you luck. He looks at Rogar. Here, and he draws an arrow from his quiver and hands it to you. There is a groove running down the side of it in which a reed has been inserted. Perhaps in a way such that the arrow whistles when fired.
Huh.
If things become dire, fire this into the air. Cannot promise I will help, but I will do what I can.
Thank you. I will make sure not to use this randomly.
He nods. I must be off. He turns and walks into a small clearing a short distance away, stretches his feathered wings out, and with a powerful beat of those wings rises from the ground. Navigates carefully between the boles of the trees under the canopy, and disappears eventually up through the leaves, leaving you all in these creepy woods.
Yes, perhaps we should now backtrack a little bit. If it's as dangerous as he says.
I just don't want any dead things.
Well, dead things are all around us. Dead mice, dead fall, birds.
Let's just get this wood. What does he mean by tainted? Like,
I'm not sure. I don't know if it means the woods themselves or something living in it.
All of you are somewhat familiar with just a general sort of uneasy feeling here in these woods. There's something unnatural about it. It's a little darker than it should be. It's a little colder than it should be. Out of the corners of your vision, you see branches twisting oddly. But when you turn to look at them, they're normal. There is just an odd presence about this place. And as you'd moved forward over the past hour or so, it got colder. It got more present. Lunalia, you hear it first. You hear the sound of snarling of many pawed feet drumming on the ground as a pack of something, wolves perhaps, runs. You hear it close, almost as if right atop you, but you look about and you don't see it. A flash of movement off in the distance perhaps, and then it's gone.
So we've moved back the way we came about half an hour?
Well, you're on your way back.
Okay.
But as you move back, the feeling of unease moves with you. And in whatever direction you move, you don't really seem to leave this place.
Lunalia's gonna dismount. And she'll...
Dismount from what?
We have horses.
No, I thought we hoofed it.
Oh, I assumed we took horses.
You never take horses. There's no point.
Okay. So she's just going to, hold up her hand to the others, and she's going to step off this little forest trail about 10 feet. The woods here, I'm assuming, are very thick.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to crouch down at the roots of this big oak, I guess. And she'll place her hands on the trunk of the tree itself, and she'll start to cast Speak with Plants.
Nice. Druid stuff.
Who else to better know what's going on?
So it's not just this. She's focusing on this tree, but it's anything within 30 feet. Any of the plant life within 30 feet. And so she'll slowly open her eyes and say, "Tell me, friends, what danger lurks in these woods?"
You feel it first, and then you hear it. The creaking of trees and branches bending slightly in the breeze. First without animation, and then sort of beginning to move on their own. The rest of the party becomes aware of some sort of sentience manifesting in the forest around you. It doesn't seem to bother Lunalia, and so you watch, cautious, as she reaches out to the foliage around her. A deep voice, slow and cracking. The forest. The forest is wrong. The creature could not be. Long has it plagued us. Long have we longed for it to leave. As the largest of the trees before you slowly sways back and forth, almost moving on its own. You hear chiming in shrubs, bushes, grasses. Yes, yes, the creature, the darkness, it lingers. We do not want it. Take it from us.
Can you describe it? What sort of a creature? When did you last see it?
Very small. No, tall. No. Yes. Very tall. Tall to those who are small like you. A skull it wears upon its head. The wolves obey its command, although they wish it gone as we. A skull, more than one. Beware, for it is everywhere, nowhere at once. It watches everything. It can see. Even now it watches you.
Will we be safe to sleep here for the night?
No. You should leave. No. Stay. Save the forest. Drive it away.
Well, of course we will help you. But we do need to rest. If it's not safe here, we'll have to move on.
You cannot escape it. It has your scent. It knows you. It follows. It hunts. You begin to hear that sound of paws on the forest floor. Too close, yet far away. Rogar, off in the distance, you hear a flapping of many wings, like a flock of birds that suddenly appears and then disappears. Out of the corner of your eye, you see movement, a tall shadow, and then it's gone.
I'm going to use Divine Sense.
Your eyes flash golden for a split second as you sweep your vision about. Nothing so certain as a creature type rings out at you. In fact, you don't see anything directly. But this place is desecrated. The ground here, this entire... As far as you can tell, everything within range of your enhanced sight is desecrated. And that reek, that taint, draws stronger in a very specific direction to the north and down into the valley. Crispin, I'd say, especially given the specific deity you follow, you're very familiar with the feeling in this place. The forest is touched. There is something wrong with it. Not undeath, but there is something profane, something perverse here. And Nora, I imagine you just straight up have the heebie-jeebies.
Everywhere we go.
Yeah,
Definitely have
Lunalia's going to stand up and look at her friends and say, I don't think we're going to get much sleep tonight, my friends.
I mean, do we have to be here? Can we just... I don't know, go to Falcon's Rest?
I mean, I can get us out of here.
Or is it too late?
No, I can get us home in an instant. And we could return in the morning.
I mean, is there any clue to how good tainted wood is? If I even want to take anything from this place? Is that even a good idea?
The plant life says that there's something in the center of the woods. A creature that's causing this.
I'm just going to throw this out there. It's getting late. I did have one more sort of encounter, whether it be combat or otherwise planned. Given that it's getting late, and given how combats tend to go on, and Louis back next week, you guys could get creative with a quick exit and come back with him to finish this off next week.
Yeah, so that's what she'll say to the group. Look, I can get us out of here right now. Come back when we're rested up, when Louis is available, to handle what is deep inside the woods. Our new friend here might be interested. Something about a skull, a creature wearing a skull. Does it sound familiar to you at all? She's looking at the big skull on the front of his shield.
A creature wearing a skull?
That's what the fauna seems to say. The flora, rather.
What would I roll? Poker?
You could make a religion or Religion, Arcana, or Nature check. Your choice.
The wildlife seems to think that it controls the wolves. They don't willingly follow, but they have no choice.
The religion check of an 18. It is possible. Drawing the threads of what you know about this place, the brief mentions you've heard of there having been an elven civilization here, perhaps thousands of years prior, a touch of magic in the air, the general, there's just the general affinity between deep woods and fey creatures. There is a possibility that there is some sort of dark, perhaps twisted fey creature here. You're not sure what it could be, but your gut and your intellect tells you that this is something fey in origin.
So I would pass that along, and then also I would ask the party who this Malsandris is.
Now, Sendris is a powerful fey creature.
Crispin, when you speak her name aloud...
Uh-oh.
Lunalia, your spell is still active. You hear the trees groan and creak and moan in pain. You hear the bushes and shrubs around you shudder in fear.
I'll explain it back in town. She is going to reach her hands back out to that giant oak. She's going to place them on either side, and she's going to cast Tree Stride. Quickly, through the portal.
A crack appears in the bark of the tree and quickly widens into a very sort of natural-looking doorway, framed in a ring of cracked bark. You see through it Phandalin.
Yeah, there's a big tree by his pond. At the back of the Edermath estate. It won't be open long. Quickly, get through.
Quickly, there's no time.
Let's go. I don't want to stick around. I'm the first one to go in. Heebie-jeebies and everything.
As you all shuffle through it, Lunalia at the back of the group holding the tree portal open, you hear a howl in the distance. An angry howl. Inhuman. Horrible. Loud echoing. You hear the howl of wolves join in with it. And the sound of fluttering wings all about. A burst of fluttering wings, and you see a dark shape in the distance, and then it collapses in on itself. Another burst of fluttering wings closer by. A dark shape, tall. You see antlers and a little bit of moonlight that shines through the canopy, glints off of a bone-white skull. This thing is 9, maybe 10 feet tall. It disappears again, a flutter of dark wings about it, closer a third time as you step through the portal and it closes behind you. I think that's where we can end tonight.
Man, I'm heebie-jeebied out.
Why are you heebie-jeebied?
Noro doesn't like the spooktacular.
Skulls, and we're disturbing a graveyard again.
No, we're not. Just because it's scary doesn't mean that it's undead.
To Noro it is.
It is a skull.
That doesn't mean it's undead. It could just be wearing it like a hat. A creepy, horrible skull hat. With
We use
antlers.
2.0.
I did see something before the portal closed. 9 feet
What'd you
tall.
see?
Antlers. Appearing and disappearing in a flutter of wings.
Was it your friend from earlier?
No. Far more creepy than that. And much taller.
He seemed to know more than he gave on.
Are you talking about our bird friend?
The feathered man, yes.
It's hard to say what went on in Scribble's mind.
No, not him. The guy
Oh,
who brought us
the
here.
elf. No, nothing like him.
Man, that thing looks cool.
Oh, I was afraid it was going to be that.
Is that Noro hell knowing?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to stop the stream and y'all next week.